I will never forget the day my husband, John, stood in our living room, the very space where we had once celebrated birthdays, holidays, and late-night movie marathons, and told me he was selling our house. He wasn't selling it because we were upgrading to something better or making a wise financial move. No. He was selling it to buy a house for his mistress. Time seemed to stop. His words struck me like a blow, leaving me frozen, unable to process the betrayal. His face was unnervingly calm, as though he had rehearsed this conversation for weeks. My cheeks burned with humiliation and grief. "It's better this way," he said coldly, pacing the room as though he were finalizing a business transaction rather than dismantling our family. "You'll be fine. I'll make sure you get something small. This house is wasted here. She deserves it." "She?" I whispered, though I already knew. The woman I had quietly suspected for months, the reason for the late-night work, meetings, and secretive phone calls. The woman who, apparently, now deserved my home. This was the house I had helped build with him, brick by brick, sacrificing vacations, working extra shifts, cutting costs just to keep up with the mortgage payments when money was tight. And now he wanted to gift it all to her. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. That was what he expected. Instead, I held myself still, my heart breaking in silence. That night, while he slept in the guest room, something he had been doing for weeks, I sat at the kitchen table thinking about everything. The years of loyalty, the sacrifices, the dreams we had once shared. And I came to a realization that changed everything. He may have betrayed me, but I would not allow him to destroy me. The next morning, I made him breakfast. He eyed me suspiciously but ate, convinced that I had accepted my fate. I listened as he spoke about his future with her, speaking of me as though I were just an old piece of furniture to be discarded. But inside, I had already made my decision. For weeks, I played my part, the quiet, defeated wife. I let him think he had won. I watched him shift money around, whisper on the phone, brag to her that she would soon live in our house. Meanwhile, I quietly gathered every piece of documentation I could find. Bank statements, property records, legal papers. Anything proving that the house belonged to me. Because here was the truth he had conveniently forgotten. The house wasn't his to sell. It was mine. When we had bought it, my parents had contributed to the down payment, and my name alone was put on the deed. Back then, he had been too proud to care and signed it over without hesitation. That small detail was now about to shatter his plans. The day he arrived with the real estate agent, ready to put the house on the market, I was waiting, composed, prepared. A manila envelope sat neatly on the coffee table. "What's this?" He scoffed, irritated. I slid it toward him. "Open it." He pulled out the documents and scanned them. At first, confusion crossed his face. Then his expression drained of color. "What is this supposed to mean?" he asked, his voice unsteady. "It means," I said evenly, "this house is mine. Not yours. Not ours. Mine. You gave up your right to it years ago when you signed the deed. You have no legal authority to sell it." The silence that followed was the sweetest sound I had ever heard. His arrogance crumbled into shock. The real estate agent quietly excused herself, sensing the storm about to erupt. "You can't do this," he shouted, slamming the papers on the table. "You'll regret this." But I simply smiled, standing taller than I had in years. "No, the only thing I regret is wasting so much of my life on a man who thought I was worthless. You, John, you're the one about to lose everything." And that was the turning point. He couldn't sell the house. He couldn't throw me out. And when I filed for divorce, I had every piece of evidence I needed. Bank transfers, text messages, all of it. His mistress never got the dream home he had promised her. Instead, she ended up with a man who was broken, desperate, and stripped of his pride. As for me, I rebuilt my life piece by piece. I turned that house, the house he once tried to take from me, into a place of healing and joy. I filled it with laughter, with family, with friends who reminded me of my worth. And one day, as I stood in the doorway of my home, I realized something profound. He hadn't just lost the house. He had lost me. And that was something no mistress could ever replace. Never allow betrayal to define you. Even in your darkest hours, strength is waiting to rise within you. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is not anger. It is building a life so beautiful that the person who hurt you can never touch your peace again.